Hey there, myself Bhagyashree. Today topic to discuss and like discuss more about the question microservices interview question which is asked in every time when you are appearing for the microservices types of jobs and roles. So let's start with that. First question we have: what are the microservices and how do they differ from the monolithic architecture too? And for that we have an answer for this like microservices in an architectural style where an application is divided into small independent services that can be developed, deployed and scaled independently. In contrast, I can say monolithic applications are built as a single cohesive unit where all functionality are tightly coupled. Tightly coupled and loosely coupled means capture the issue at the runtime and compile time. So microservices is a loosely coupled. It means if anything is happen or anything error you getting, you can just directly you can capture the compile time because of its isolation and independently and loosely coupled behavior. But in terms of the monolithic architecture, these are the tightly coupled, cohesive, and if you got your application is getting stuck anywhere, you have to be difficult to capture the issue or error and have to be search and roam in whole application and get the error and you have to build and deploy all the stuff you have to perform. So that's why in terms of flexibility performance wise, microservices better than the monolithic. But apart from that, for the learning perspective, microservices are complex, monolithic is easier compared to microservices for the designing. Second question we have what are the key advantages of the using microservices? Some advantages like microservices include the improve the scalability, flexibility, easy of maintenance, faster development cycle, and better fault isolation. Faster development cycle because it is a independently like if one of the developer is working on the backend API, like we have a banking app for the example, one of the API they are creating in the account information, one of for the saving account, one for the current account, one for the like user profile information API creation. So these all are the like independently. So each and every developer can assign and they can independently work. So that's why it is like uh, specific to like development become fast because of this because it is not connected to each another have to do more dependency. Next question we have: can you explain the principle of the 12 factor app and how they relate to microservices? The 12 factor app is methodology for the building scalable and maintainable web application. It aligns well with the microservices by emphasizing principles like code based division, configuration management, and statelessness. Next question ask like for that service discovery. So we have the question like what is the service discovery and why it is important in a microservices architecture. I can say these are the question whether you are a Java developer or .NET developer or any other developer. This microservices concept is coming each and every time, and it is common to ask each and every time. It is common to ask like you should expect this type of question and ready for the answer. Service discovery, I can say the process of the dynamically locating and connecting services in microservices ecosystem. It is crucial in microservices to enable the services to find the communication with each other as they can be frequently added and remove or scale. So these are the main definition for the service discovery. Next question we have like how do you handle the inter-service communication in a microservices architecture? This question I also getting when I was appearing for the interview. So this type of question is coming over there. Inter-services communication can be achieved with the help of various methods like HTTP REST API, messaging protocol comes like MQTT or AMQP. If you're .NET developer, then there is a like a RabbitMQ and gRPC. This choice depend on the specific use cases and requirement. Next question we have: what is a service mesh and why it is used in microservices architecture? Service mesh is a like dedicated infra layer that facilitates the communication between the microservices. If you are a network, you have some network idea. In the network terms, there is a like mesh technology, star topology, and mesh topology is happening. So this concept you can relate here also. The service mesh is dedicated for the infra layer and facilitate the communication between the microservices, and it often requires feature like load balancing, service discovery, security, and observability. and making it easier to manage the microservices interaction. Next question I have: how can you ensure the data consistency is a microservices architecture where each service may have a its databases? Yeah, so for that, maintaining data consistency in microservices can be challenging. Like we can manage with the help of like where have a technique using distributed transaction, event sourcing, eventual consistency, and can be employed depending on the use cases. I will also give the at one of the example at the end of this question, so you can get the better idea about this. Then what is the question next we have? Yeah, API gateway. API gateway is a major role when we are creating the microservices. API gateway, and what is the role, and it's explain a microservices architecture. If they are not asking in the interview and you are given like what is the microservices working, what is the role, then you can add this point. Microservices have a API gateway, and these are the major building block while creating the microservices. An API gateway is like central entry point for the external client to access the microservices. It handles the tasks like routing requests, authentication, authorization, load balancing, and caching. Yeah, next we have a what is a breaker pattern and why it is useful in microservices. I can give a like real time example, like if you are communicating from one person to another person, direct message you are conveying, and there is a no middleware. Breaker is like acting as a breaker, like name suggested, like it is a breaker. So in the communication protocol from one person to another person, we have added to circuit breaker. Because of that, this message truly passes to the one person to another person. Sometimes it is good because if anything is happening, you can just drop or just stop from the service breaker, then it don't be delivered to the second person side. So it have some advantage and some disadvantage also, but more of the point we have to be go for the advantage by pros points. The circuit breaker pattern is a fault tolerance mechanism that prevents a service from the repeatedly trying to access a service that is likely to fail. It helps in handling the failure gracefully and improving the system reliability. Next question I have like explain the concept of the containerization and relations with the microservices. If you are aware about the Docker, then there is a container concept. With the help of container, we are deploying our images and services. And apart from that, if you are using the cloud services in the Azure and the AWS, over there when we are deploying our application web app, we have to go through the container. Because of the container, we are deploying in the cloud, I can say, whether it is a like Windows application, whether it is like Linux. So it will be uh, solve the problem with the help of containerization. It is a like practice on packaging an application and its dependency into a container. That is like, I can say, this is like if you are creating an application, you are deploying some other server, and sometime what happens, some due to some dependency, some DLL missing, the application is not running on the another machine or another server. So on that we have to be like take care of each and everything and have to be like maintain the system. But when we have this containerization facility, we can install each and everything in this container, and where we have to be deploy, we can deploy. So like in this we have like I have to create the like install what I can say Angular application, so I can type in the command in the PowerShell npm install Angular, npm install SQL Server, npm install Nginx. So all this stuff we can install and make the system environment as a compatible what the application needed for the system compatibility, and we can deliver or we can deploy the system over there. So it is like consistent deployment and execution. Microservices are often containerization to ensure the consistency across the different environment. Different environment in the sense like we have a different platform which we can deploy. Next we have a question like what is serverless computing and how does it fit into the microservices landscape? Serverless computing is like cloud computing. If we heard about the Azure function, that is the example of the serverless. Without because there is a no need to set up our app like developer and for the infra and all. You just create and deploy your application or your function. All the CI/CD develop like deployment take care from that side, cloud side, I can say. So it is like a serverless computing is a cloud computing model where the cloud provider manages infra and developer focus on the writing code in the form of function. Only that's it. Like that's name like suggest as your function. You have to write the only function name, and all the development managing infra is done by the cloud end. So microservices can leverage the serverless platform or specific function or component to enhance the scalability and cost effectiveness. Next question I have: how do you handle the security in the microservices architecture? This is the major, like very important question. You are creating anything or you are creating any service or application. There is a major role to handle the security. Without security, there is a no use of application. So security purpose, we have to involve strategy like authentication, authorization, encryption, and role-based access control. Each services should have its security mechanism, and centralized identity provider can be used for the authentication. So with the help of this mechanism, we can make our security system in the microservices. Next question I have: what are the some challenges and complexity associated with deploying and monitoring microservices at a scale? This is the major question because it is a very complex architecture, I can say. And when you are a first time learner or developer, you already face this type of issues. So, like interviewer also asking, like if you are work on that, then you face some of the problem or issues over there while first time creating or deploying the application with the in the microservices. So what is that? Just explain that. So you can explain like challenging include managing services dependency, ensuring observability, handling versioning, and orchestrating deployments. So tool like Kubernetes and Prometheus can help address these issues. After this, we have next question: what is a blue green deployment, and how it can be applied in a microservices architecture? So blue green deployment allow running two identical environment. Like if you are before this, like you can just remember if you are deploying your application, one of the staging, one of the production. Before delivering to the before deploying to the, I can say, final to the client, we are creating the some stages to testing our application. So this type of mechanism, I can say, which we can observe here also. Blue green deployment involves the running two identical environment and switching traffic from one to another to minimize the downtime during updates. So it can be applied to microservices by deploying a new version alongside the old one, gradually shifting traffic. That's why you heard about the like microservices type of application. Very less, I can say, they are facing the low time or you can say downtime. Because of this versioning system, they are shifting from one to another one. Then next question we have: how do you ensure high availability and fault tolerance in the microservices ecosystem? So yeah, as I mentioned, like this availability is a major key point while we are creating the microservices. So this versioning system is mechanism, I can say, making our system microservices up system available. So they are asking the how to make your system high available and fault tolerance in the microservices ecosystem. So we have like high availability can be achieved through the redundancy, load balancing, and failover mechanism. Fault tolerance can be ensured by using the circuit breakers. As I mentioned, circuit breaker is used for the mechanism for the if anything disaster happening, then we can stop with the help of circuit breaker. We can like get the notification. We can get stop or prevent with the help of circuit breaker. Retry strategy and handling failure gracefully. Retry strategy, like we are keeping the count over the circuit breaker. Like if the same request failing from the two time or three time, we are just keeping the one of the count limit three time or five time. If this is coming again, then we can stop. It will be impacted on the system. So yeah, we can make the stop or we can apply the flag solution which we can stop. Don't come again this record, like some return. We are returning some of the pages for brain services. Next question I have: what is the cap theorem and how does it relate to microservices architecture? In the system design and microservices, this cap theorem is very important. It is like backbone of the system design and microservices architecture. As name suggests, consistency, availability, and persistence. It is like distributed system. You can only have the two output of the three property: consistency, availability, and partition tolerance. Microservices architecture need to make trades-off based on their system requirement and priorities. Next question we have: can you explain the difference between the synchronous and asynchronous communication in microservices? Yes, synchronous communication involves the immediate request response interaction. There is a like we have to be wait if one task is completed, then we have to be perform the second task. But in the asynchronous communication, there is a no wait period time. It is like messaging system to decouple the services. Asynchronous communication is often preferred to scalability and resilience. Next question we have, what is the role of DevOps in microservices development and deployment? DevOps is like practice are crucial for the automating and streamlining the continuous integration and delivery and deployment of the microservices. So it ensures that the development and operation team work together efficiently. So these people are the backbone, I can say, mediator for the developer and tester or operational. Like they are like operational member, I can say, for the particular application or particular software purpose. Next question we have, how can you handle the versioning and backward compatibility in the microservices API? So versioning can be handled using the API versioning in URLs, header or namespace. Backward compatibility is essential to prevent the breaking changes and can involve the gradual updates and depreciation strategy. Next question we have, what are some best practices for monitoring and debugging microservices in the production environment? So we can give the answer like best practice include implementing centralizing logging, distributed testing, sorry tracing and real-time monitoring tool. Additionally, like automated health check and uh, detection can help identity and resolve the issue quickly. So these are the like major question, very important question, which is asked in each and every company when you are appearing for the microservices type of jobs and roles. I think you got the valuable information from this video. Hope you like it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.